Okay, so today I'm gonna go to the walking clinic that originally cut me off of my pills, my medications, the stuff that keeps me from being crazy. I understand that walking clinics have certain procedures and regulations that they have to follow, but I also know that a doctor is a doctor, and a doctor can do whatever he wants with repercussions possibly, unless he can explain why he did what he did. And I'm not a junkie showing up for medications. I'm not just an addict showing up for medications. That because if I was, I'd be asking for a whole shitload more than say clonazepam and to be treated for my ADHD. Um, so I'm gonna find out how he feels about the fact that he could have kept me safe by keeping me medicated, and then I could continue working, but in turn decided to refer me to mental health, which there was no referral ever made, and tell me that I had to wait 3 months minimum unmedicated before I'd get to see a doctor, which in my case means 3 months where I am going to barely leave the house, not able to do anything, not able to. It's going to be hard enough for me to go to the doctor today because I've got to walk with a fucked up leg. Um, Unfortunately, all the stitches I got in my leg, my angel ended up ripping them out yesterday, so it's an open gash again, as big as it was before. And the same thing happened with my knuckle. The very first night, fucking went to grab for something, and they fucking both popped out of my hand. So I got two open wounds that have been there for a couple of days that need to be taken care of. But the fact is that this doctor is going to see the repercussions of his actions through my wounds, because this is exactly what I told him was going to happen. Now, I didn't plan it to happen just to throw it in his face. That's not the way I try my hardest never to hurt myself. And I do a really fucking good job considering where I've come from in the past and what I've done. But I told him that when the anxiety builds, when the isolation becomes too much, when I feel like I'm backed into a corner, like, a fucking wild animal in a trap, I feel the need to chew my foot off, or in my case, cut myself to bring some alleviation to the turmoil that I'm going through on a day-to-day basis. So I guess we'll see what his reaction is. I don't expect it to actually be very good. I expect him to be a little bit standoffish because he's a doctor and he would never do anything to harm or never ignore something because it's going to harm them. But my main concern with this walking clinic in particular is it's the only place that I've gone since I moved to Maple Ridge. And since I moved to Maple Ridge, I had been prescribed the meds that I needed for around, I think it was 8 months. No, actually, it's been over a year because we've lived here over a year. So, over a year, a walking clinic was providing me with what I needed, which allowed me to get a full time job and work that full-time job, missing, very little bits until I was cut off my meds. Once I was cut off my meds, I didn't go to work for 4 weeks. And then finally, after 4 weeks, the sadness and the isolation of being at home alone so much got to me to a point where I'd rather put myself in an anxious situation where I may do harm and be around people. But yeah, it went bad. Something triggered, something happened, and when I was cut off my meds, then I stopped working. So sorry about that little stumble there. But when he decided, oh no, we can't give these to you no more, and the reasons is because other people abuse them and they may become addictive. Um, if you suffer from chronic anxiety and there's a pill that you can take to help and make it so that you can leave the house so you can support your family by having a job, by being able to socialize, network, have friends and a safety net and a fucking support structure, to have all that, I gotta be feeling okay. I gotta, and that was all taken away because of how other people may act with the medications. Now, I'm not every other person. I'm a unique individual that is, man, I look down at my arms thinking like I've never seen somebody with as many stitches, as many cuts, as many fucking mortal wounds that I've caused to myself than myself. So like, people's health care and people's mental health care needs to be taken care of individually. It can't be a blanket, oh, we'll refer you to mental health and then it's gonna be 3 months. Okay, what if somebody wasn't as strong as me? What if they couldn't last that 3 months? What if that disappointment of knowing that I'm alone for the next 3 months is enough to kill themselves? Okay, because it's gotten to that point with me where this isn't worth living anymore. It's because it's not living. It's surviving from day to day, and I shouldn't have to beg a doctor to give me medications that help me thrive and be told no because of how other people are. Now, it seems like the epidemic is being allowed to happen to get rid of the homeless. But now what it seems like is that the restrictions put on medications that people have used, lots of people have used for years and years and years, and that give them a quality of life that's worth living, are having their medications taken away because of the actions of addicts, which addicts aren't bad people. All they're doing is trying to kill pain and live whatever life they can in the only way that they know how. But my medical treatment now is based off of that. And so if the government released fentanyl to kill the homeless, then now they're using the homeless as a way to kill the mentally ill, because mentally ill is getting their medications taken away because of the addicts in not just the homeless population, but in the addict population. In the underground, we're gonna press fentanyl with benzo, kind of those people. My care shouldn't be based on that. My care should be based on the fact that I am a cutter. Are you gonna see it? I can't see very well, but lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of scars. A roadmap of pain to what I thought eventually ended up bringing me to salvation, bringing me to a point where I got a doctor that was willing to prescribe me these, and for 6 years I was fine. But then all of a sudden, because I moved to Maple Ridge, now it doesn't matter anymore. Now I'm a disposable person. I'm somebody who's easily allowed to be like, no, you've got to deal with this yourself, or we're going to refer you to mental health. And in 3 months, if you're still alive, then maybe somebody will be able to help you. I don't really think that's fair. I think that's absolutely crap that people's mental health and even physical health is not based on the individual, but it's based on what they think best is for the masses. And I really don't think the masses had to go through what I went through when I was a child. I don't think the masses got raped over and over again by a grown man when before they were old enough to really even know what sex was. I don't think the general population has carved themselves up like a turkey, died twice from blood loss, had to have transfusions, and their heart stopped. I doubt that there's many people who are similar than me. So why would I be treated with the same medical care? It makes no sense. Then we'll see what he has to say when I get to the clinic, because like I said, he's the catalyst that catapulted me forward to the point where my only option after 5 days of no sleep and not able to eat, sitting crying on the couch because my stomach hurt so bad, thinking like maybe there's something really, really, really wrong. And then like for so long, DJ's just watched me cry. And he sits there helpless because he doesn't know what to do. And so my plan the other night was to cut myself in a horrible manner so that I'd have to go to the hospital so that I'd be taken seriously, which now I was. They won't give me exactly the doses that I need, but at least it's a bare minimum to now help me scrape by, to survive. But I shouldn't have to just survive. I should be allowed to thrive. And it's not fair. And something needs to happen to change for the mental health community. Not even just the mental health community, but the medical community in all. A doctor shouldn't be afraid to lose his license because he knows the medication will help a certain individual. There shouldn't be limitations put on. There should be special exemptions when it comes to doing that. You can't just take a pill that a person knows is going to help them and then say, no, you can't have this anymore. It's controlled, and we're not going to give it to you. We're going to let you suffer. Like that's a backwards way to take care of medical. That's a backwards way to act in the medical practice because people need help. People don't need to be told that they can't have it because you may be an addict or you may eventually abuse it. People need help. They need individually geared health care. They need individually cared mental health care. They need that individualness. And whether it's impossible or really hard to get everybody who needs it, but then the government needs to step their shit up and get more doctors here, or at least allow physicians to give refills and look at what a person's been prescribed, how long they've been taking it, and then refill those prescriptions based upon their past and what they've been on up to a certain point. It should never be that somebody's been on a medication that has saved their life, made their quality of life excellent, and then say, no, you can't have it anymore. Because to put that power for somebody else's happiness, for somebody else's for somebody else to be, what was it? I can't think of, for them to have quality life that they deserve. It's not fair that an outside person who isn't involved in their family, isn't there 100% of the time, only knows what's told during like a 5-minute visit. That person should not be allowed to determine, no, you're not allowed to have a good quality of life. You're not allowed to thrive. You're not allowed to hold a job and make money to keep up your household and take care of your children. You're not allowed to make enough to eat good food. Like, I don't know what else to say other than I'm going to interview the guy who said I couldn't have them anymore. I'm going to ask him how he feels about the fact that it ended up going the exact... I'm not a doctor, and I'm not psychic, but I told him what was going to happen. And I put it off for quite a long time. It's been maybe over 4 weeks since that happened. And my anxiety's just been building. And then the anxiety stops me from going to work, which makes it so that I can't afford the stuff that now I have to pay for to take care of my anxiety. And then if I can't go to work, then I can't eat properly and I can't take care of my house. And like it's a snowball effect that all that had to happen in the very first place is that ball not be created. But because I was medicated, and I feel like a junkie asking for the meds that I know will help. It's like being diabetic and begging a doctor for your fucking insulin that's gonna save your life. It's not me just wanting to get high off of pills. It's not me just wanting an escape through pills. It's me wanting them as a crutch when I need it so that I'm able to do what I need to do. Because I'm walking to the walking clinic doctor today. It's going to take about an hour and 15 minutes. And that is the very first time in years that I have been out in public walking like that. Because I get driven everywhere, because I can't be out in public like that. I don't like to be overexposed. I get panic attacks and then I fall, and it's just a big shit show when it could have been avoided in the very first place. Because this particular medical clinic, walking clinic, for the first year that I lived here, they wrote prescriptions. It wasn't until just recently that a doctor I hadn't seen before was like, well, we can't give you that and we can't give you that. That has to be referred to alternative measures, which, well, I don't, why am I being referred to an alternative measure? Like, there was a formula and a group of pills that made my life good. That gave me the quality of life I had before this developed. I was normal again, and I was able to do the things that made me feel normal again and have joy in some of those things. But it's all been taken away because, well, like I said, I truly believe that the mentally ill downtown Vancouver, the homeless, the reason why fentanyl was introduced was to slowly kill them off. And then what's the secondary most biggest group of people that's a draw on society, that's a draw on for money, that's a draw for resources? Well, unfortunately, it's the mentally ill. So if you base your decisions on what the mentally ill can be prescribed off of the abuse of medications by the addicts downtown, then you're going to end up with a bunch of dead mentally ill people I have a 19-year-old son. I am his only relative. And like, he's supposed to lose me because I'm mentally ill, even though I can function fine when I'm on my meds. I need to die for like, what? So he doesn't have to witness me crying and begging and coming back from the doctors defeated. Like, it makes zero sense that they would ever determine anybody's medical treatment, mental health treatment, or even how they're treated based on how other people act. That would be like if a white guy with a shaved head and some piercings walked into a store and robbed them. And then a week later, I walked into the store with a shaved head and piercings, and he's like, "Get out. You're going to rob me." Like, there's like, you can't do shit like that. That's not the way society works. But for some reason, that's the way the medical profession's working right now. And it's going to take possibly me offing myself and my son watching these videos and recounting the last little bits of my life so that he can raise fucking hell, because it needs to change. And if it takes a martyr, I don't mind being a martyr. Now, this isn't me saying I'm going to kill myself. What I'm saying is that if no change happens, if I do not receive the help that I need, then I know exactly where it's going to go. And where it's going to go is 6 feet in the ground. And then it's going to have this amazing fucking child. He's not a child anymore. This amazing man standing up and saying, "This is enough. Nobody else should have to lose their father because of restrictions on medications due to the fact that there's an epidemic with medication. Like, it's always been like that downtown. I don't like, people were dying before. They're dying faster now, but it's nothing new. You stand outside Carnegie Hall, you can, if you had like $200, you come back with a load of fucking medication like you hit up Mexico. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. And where are those people getting those fucking medications? Really? Like, how is a junkie that is clearly an addict, clearly able to get a doctor to prescribe him the medications that other people need and are being told no, they can't have? That's my rant for now. We'll see what happens with the doctor.